Photography for me is like observing the world in an adolescent state. It continually renews wonder. Luigi Ghirri transformed the photography reading of the Italian landscape. From Kodachrome onward, a new phase began for Italian photography, a poetic revision in stark contrast to the postcard-like views that had been popular until then. Hello YouTube, I'm Frank Schauter, and this year I decided to make a revolution on my channel. No more talk about pixel, lenses, or stuff like this. No. Technology now advances at unnecessary speed in this field. Let's remember that photography is a language. And as such, it should be used to bring a message, to communicate. We remember the masters of photography for what they communicate to us, for the picture that they took, not for the camera that they used or the technique. And in this first video of PHOTOBOOKS series, I want to bring you a masterpiece of Italian photography, Kodachrome by Luigi Ghirri. This reissued version is published by Mac in 2023, and is a copy of the original one. Luigi Ghirri was born in Scandiano, Emilia-Romagna, on January 5th, 1943, during World War II. In one of Italy's grayer places, the Po Valley, he began photographing in 1969. His research focused on the ambiguity of landscapes, the interplay of natural and artificial images, and the imagery of conception. In the 70s, photography was not highly regarded in the world of art and publishing in Italy, so Ghirri founded his own publishing house, Punto e Virgola. In 9 publications alongside various authors as Franco Fontana, in 1978 he published his first book, Kodachrome, a self-published color book that became a masterpiece of Italian photography. It was the 70s, and the only kind of photography that could be considered art at the time was black and white. Influenced by French surrealism and the documentary reportage of Magnum photographers, of course, Italian photography avant-garde movement began to feel burned by old clichés, sparking a deeper debate. From architecture to music and through conceptual art, several authors, many from Emilia-Romagna, began to think about photography in a new way. Among them, beside Ghirri, we find Olivier Barbieri, Franco Fontana, Guido Guidi, and many others. Their manifesto will culminate in Viaggio in Italia, with an exhibition and a catalogue that will set the tone for decades to come. But we will talk about that in a future video. For now, let's return to today's book. Kodachrome is a collection of intentionally unfinished projects, a sequence of photographs that seemingly have nothing in common. Almost obvious view where exclusion takes the lead. The framing becomes a threshold, a point of balance between the world of the photo and the exterior, giving the viewer the possibility to imagine an entire scenario, a passage point, a fluid zone. Ghirri himself explained the origin of his poetic approach. From a young age he was fascinated by 2 specific books, the Atlas and the Family Album. The dualism of going and staying, of inside and outside, thus becomes the cornerstone of his photography research. Throughout his career, Ghirri preferred color, using it with grace and delicacy, paired with rigorous but never predictable composition. Visible and invisible are the opposing characteristics that Kodachrome seeks to unite, without ever exploiting the rhetoric of metaphor. It makes the invisible visible through the narrative of absence. The relationship between told and untold converge in the surreal, often photographing 2-dimensional images overlaid onto the 3-dimensionality of reality, opening a door to unconscious. The rhythm of the book is tight, with continuous reference to shapes and color in seemingly disjointed narrative. Finally, Italian photography abandoned documentary pose and dives into poetry. In this book, the author grants the viewer the privilege of imagination, the search for detail that leads to a personal, different and variable story. The interpretation of meaning turns into a personal and immersive reflection. In his photos, which are never judgmental, we find the likeness of commonplaces, elevated to the visual poetry of a new, freer, and more idealized form. Kodachrome is a reflection on the act of observing. A photograph is not a representation of reality, but a proof of a gaze. Luigi Ghirri in his career worked also with several artists, mainly Italian like Lucio Dalla and CCCP, also with great architects. I like to remember the work with Aldo Rossi. The Italian photographer who revolutionized the 20th century Italian view of landscape died in 1992 at 49 years old. It was an heart attack. It's interesting to note that Kodachrome has been republished from a British photo book publisher, Mac, in 2023 and not from Italian publisher. And this version is almost like the original one. Instead of this little part at the end with a really deep and actual article from Francesco Zanotti, The Inner World of Outer World of the Inner World. The book is in Italian and in English in the main part, but also at the end there are translations and all the text in French and German. So this video is the part 1 for this book. In the next video, in the part 2 that will come out next week, I'll try something different, always with the same book that I already present you, and I hope you will see both of the videos. I will try to show you how I read the photographic book. It's not the best way, it's not the only way, but at least it is my method, and I want to share with you. Basically, I try to make a story out of the book, to imagine a story, to create a story on my mind by reading the meaning of the picture connecting between them, and not only observing geometry and connection on a physical aspect. So stay tuned for the next video. Let me know down in the comment if you like this kind of video or not, but please buy books and not camera. And for any question, mind to contact me here on the comments or send me a direct message on Instagram. I'll be more than pleased to speak about books and whatever you like to. See you on the part 2 of Kodachrome next week on this channel.